The rest days are over, yet there's no rest for those with lofty ambitions in the Tour de France. The battle lines are drawn.
We've never seen a contest like this on the mountain for years.
The mountains provide the perfect theatre.
Every one of these riders today have dug into depths I doubt they ever knew they had.
As the Tour enters its final week,
Denny Menshoff.
He's gone down.
Don't go into the red zone, because if you go into the red zone, you never come out.
yellow is the golden prize as the courageous rendezvous through the mighty Alps continues. Tour enters a beautiful part of the world today. It's the ceiling of Europe. The stage today starts from Cuneo on the Italian side of the Alps and ends in the village of Josières on the French side. In between there's the Col de la Lombard at 2,400 metres and the Bonnet-Restenfond at 2,800 metres before the downhill run to the finish. The crowds came out in their thousands for the start of the stage, which marked the end of a carnival since the Tour arrived 3 days ago in Cuneo. The question being asked was what tactics would be played by CSC in its bid to keep Frank Schleck in the race lead, and how Denny Menshoff would try and eat some time into Cadel Evans. A group of 5 riders established an early break. In the group, stage 4 winner of the time trial, Stefan Schumacher of the Gerolsteiner team. No reaction from the peloton, however. The time gap blew out to around 7 minutes as the race hit the early climbs of the Lombard. At this point, a second group of 10 riders moved off the front, the most recognisable being Italian Damiano Cunego, nicknamed the Little Prince. Driving the peloton and doing a ton of work were reliable CSC lieutenants Stuart O'Grady and Nicky Sorensen. As the crowds grew on the Lombard, Schumacher powered to the front, setting a lone tempo to the summit. An unusual sight was Evans dropping back to the lead car, but no panic from Silence Lotto's team leader, who eventually rejoined the yellow jersey. No luck for Frenchman Arnaud Coyot, who crashed after losing a tyre on the burning roads. And with 40 kilometres to go and the slopes of the Bonnet looming, Schumacher had victory in his sights. The second group was made up of the teammates of the overall contenders as the pace started to quicken on the tortuous rise.
Just in front of Menshoff there, wearing number 27, is Sammy Sanchez. He's a great climber. He too will be thinking about something. They all may be just a little bit wary of how long this climb is, because it's a very long climb at 25.5 kilometres from top to bottom. And of course, topping out at the high spot of this year's Tour in excess of 2,800 metres in altitude. This is the next group on the road, the second group on the road. Tadek Valjevec is one of the riders setting the pacemaking. A little bit further back is Jaroslav Popovic, then it's Jens Voigt, and they're all in search of this man. And I have a funny feeling that Stefan Schumacher may very well have hit the wall here this afternoon, because it's now, with 12 kilometres to go, come to inside of 2 minutes. They really are now, Phil, in this second group on the road, starting to throw caution to the wind. And big George Hincapie is coming across.
Good for him, because look how that corner kicked up there to 10% as they made that bend. And in fact, it's steeper than 10% just on that bend. Hincapie did well to read that one. This is a very select group of 7 riders going away now.
Well, it looks like one of the riders from Case d'Epargne has seen the difficulty there. Damiano Cunego is out of this bike race, Phil. There he is on the left-hand side of the road. I don't think he likes his Tour de France.
He might well be riding into abandonment if he realises he hasn't got the legs. He won't go to Paris. It's number 71. This was to be his big day, I think, and he's put himself in a position for it to be so. But now he's cracked. 1:23 is the gap from the pursuit up to the leader, remember. And it looks to me as though they are closing in now, and those 7 riders who've just made the split are now free to fly. This is Andy Schleck doing just what he did on Prato Novoso. Lift the pace up and try to crack the riders. Menshoff's up for it, just caught a glimpse of him. Roman Kreuziger is up here as well. He could be the next white jersey wearer. That group has now accelerated. It's going to split to pieces up there.
Now you can see, looking at the back of this group, there's a lot of riders here. There you can see Andy Schleck is really racking it up at the front. And I think one casualty of this big acceleration here is Christian van der Velde. As you can see now, Schleck is all over the front, Sastre. And this is a cracking
Well, I think Van der Velde was dropped there, Paul, because he's not in that group up the road at the moment. He needs to dig deep right now. Everybody, it's every man for himself.
Vladimir Efimkin is going backwards as well, Phil. Another rider who's in the top 10 in the overall classification. The game is playing out here, and still there's no sign of any emotion for Menchov in the orange jersey. Caping right up to the front end of it. There over on the right-hand side in the mainly red and black jersey is Cadel Evans. He's looking a lot more comfortable today than he was a few days ago. Also still in the group as well is Kim Kirken. But yes, Christian Van der Velde has disappeared from this group.
There is the remnants of the chase group on the Tour de France, and that the yellow jersey is equally as small as one by one riders are now being eliminated from the bunches. But still up the road, the lone leader Stefan Schumacher, but the blanket over the two chase groups now, less than 4 minutes. At the start of the climb, it was 12, and there they are.
Well, they really are eliminating a lot of riders here this afternoon, but maybe not eliminating the riders they want to. Andy Schleck is being forced here to set the tempo on the front end of the group at Maillot Jaune, the group of the yellow jersey. But behind, Menchov is sitting there nice and calm and collected as you like. Look at him, the man in the orange jersey there of Team Rabobank.
27.2 kilometres, that's where the race distance is. We crest the top at 23.5. 18 seconds. They're slowly but surely clawing in Schumacher. There he is.
Well, I'll tell you what,
there they are.
He's doing a great ride because he's not succumbing at all to the effort that he's put in over the Col de la Lombard and over the majority of this Col de la Bonnette. And he's still riding along, and he's giving them a hard time to actually pull in that final 15 or 20 seconds.
It's less than 4 kilometres to the top, so I'm delighted to say the computer was wrong again. He predicted the catch at 4, but they're going to catch him at 3 by the look of it to the summit here. And they are coming slowly but surely. They'll be fighting out there for first place. And I have to say, I know a lot of people in South Africa will be on the edge of the seat, but right in this group is the youngest cyclist in the race from South Africa. He was brought up in Port Elizabeth, John Lee Augustin. And you know, it wouldn't surprise me, Paul, if he's got the legs to try and leave this group.
Well, he really is.
There he is
riding
in the red off to the right.
Team Barlow World just over to the right-hand side. He's a young kid at 21 years of age, and it's a big shock to come to a race like the Tour de France because it is bigger and more powerful than anything else he's ever been to in his career.
There is yellow. He doesn't look in any trouble, and he's got Cadel Evans right alongside him. But if they don't get time off Cadel, Paul, they know he'll win the Tour de France.
That's the important thing. They know that in the back of their minds. They know they need time. But to get rid of a man like Cadel Evans like this, Phil, you don't try and ride him off your wheel. You've got to attack. You've got to change the rhythm. You've got to change the pace. That's what riders like Cadel and Denny Menchov don't like. They don't have that ability to change the speed on a climb. 5 kilometres to go to the summit.